Hi, it's Michał Łabecki. I'm delighted that you decided to learn about my invention, the Breath Viewer. You're probably watching this movie because you belong to a very small group of people who look for new solutions and want to develop themselves. Breath Viewer is the only spirometer for use in practicing your embouchure with all wind and brass instruments that allows you to smoothly adjust the amount of air and pressure. This advanced device and the exercises that I'm about to show you will let you develop your sound and change the way you think about it. I won't show you how to keep the ball at the same level for as long as possible. Instead, I'll tell you about practical solutions to many problems encountered when playing pieces. I decided to record this movie because many people asked me how to use the device and what exercises are the most effective. Before you start using the Breath Viewer, you need to set it as if you were to play your instrument. While breathing, you should feel that the air pressure is the same as while playing your instrument. I will begin with setting the amount of air with a lower valve. When I screw it in, the amount of air needed to raise the ball will be less. After setting the amount of air, you need to set the air pressure with the upper valve. It is best to set it in such a way that the ball will stop halfway through the transparent tube while you are breathing, just like when you are playing mezzo forte on your instrument. So let's move on to the most effective exercises with the Breath Viewer. The first exercise is very helpful in memorizing how to begin producing a sound. For example, how to direct the airstream when producing the sound. It will help you form a habit of producing a sound with the correct speed from the very beginning. The best effect we will get when we play our instrument, thinking as if we are blowing into the Breath Viewer. The next exercise will help you master playing several notes separated with the tongue so that the airflow is not interrupted. Notice that I didn't stop blowing when I was blocking the airstream with my tongue, and the ball fell only one, or at most 2 units on the scale. The next exercise will help us prepare for linking two notes from different registers. This was me blowing as if I was playing. As you saw, the second sound required higher speed and pressure. Staccato exercise. Practicing staccato using the Breath Viewer helps you form the habit of blowing a large amount of air into the instrument in a very short time. The higher the ball rises, the louder, fuller, and more sonorous the staccato sounds. The next the stream of air to play legato notes where every note requires different air speed and pressure. I'll use the Breath Viewer to show you how I shape, direct the airstream by adapting it to the sounds each of which requires a different pressure. Practicing extreme dynamics. The breath viewer can be used to show how to do different dynamics with airstream. When you play crescendo, you blow more air and the ball rises, and when you play diminuendo, the ball falls. When practicing with the breath viewer, you focus on directing the airstream, helping you to form associated habits. Vibrato practice. This exercise is mostly aimed at people who begin learning vibrato or are intending to master it in the near future. Playing the breath viewer. My favorite exercise, which I use during the lessons with my students, is playing the breath viewer. It includes blowing air into the device and at the same time playing a given phrase on an instrument. When practicing with the breath viewer, we are not distracted by embouchure or the right fingering. Unfortunately, we often have them and other components. In order that we play perfectly, every element must be drilled to the point of doing it automatically. The breath viewer helps a lot to controlling the airflow. Practicing with the breath viewer has an additional advantage. When we do diminuendo or hold a long note in piano, it might happen that we start blowing less and less air, and to keep the right intonation, we squeeze our mouth muscles. Unfortunately, it will affect the overall sound. The sound will get ugly, dull, and less resonant. When we breathe the breath viewer and unconsciously decrease the amount of air, we will see that the height of the ball in the tube will change immediately, which will mean that we have been blowing incorrectly. After doing the exercises that I showed you a moment ago, the sound of your instrument will be fuller, rounder, and more resonant in all registers. Staccato will be more resonant, and legato easier to achieve.